Good morning, everyone. We will start in a few minutes. Please stand by for the national anthem. Please stand for the national anthem. Good morning once again. Welcome to our first session of the live webinar for the Help Educators Rise to Online Education by School Year 2020 to 2021, or the Heroes 2021. This series of webinar is a project between the Department of Education, NCR, and the Thames International Business School. We would like to acknowledge first our guests from the Department of Education. We have our Regional Director, Dr. Malcolm S. Garma, Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Carlito D. Rocafort, our Division Chiefs, Attorney Joylyn Dulnuan of the Administrative Services Division, Dr. Henya V. Santos, Curriculum and Learning Management Division, Dr. Felicino Tronco of the Human Resources and Development Division, Dr. Warren A. Ramos, Policy Planning and Research Division, Dr. Roger Morales, Field Technical Assistance Division, Ms. Juliet E. Kamen of the Finance Division, Ms. Jennifer F. Vivas of the Quality Assurance Division, Dr. Crisanto A. Esiha, Education Support and Services Division. We also have here our school division superintendents, headed by Caloocan Division, headed by Dr. Nanette L. Lazaria, Las Piñas, Dr. Joel Torrecampo, Malabon, Dr. Mauro C. Degulan, Makati, Dr. Carlene S. Cedilia, Manila, Dr. Magdalena M. Lim, Mandaluyong, Dr. Romela M. Cruz, Marikina City, Dr. Cheryl T. De Cayola, Muntinlupa, Dr. Domenico C. Idanan, Navota City, Dr. Alejandra G. Ibanez, Parañaque, Dr. Evangeline Ladines, Pasay City, Dr. Loretta Torrecampo, Pasig, Ms. Maria Evalu Concepcion Agustin, Quezon City, Dr. Janeline Corpus, San Juan, Dr. Cecil Carandang, Taguig, Pateros, Dr. Margarita B. Materum, Valenzuela, Dr. Meliton Zurbano. We also have our education program supervisors, Mr. Dennis Mendoza of the Learning and Resource Management Development Section, Dr. Micah Pacheco, Science ADM, Dr. Roland D. Montes, Special Education in ESP, Dr. Arnold C. Gatus, English SPFL Journalism, Dr. Maricar Agao, Kindergarten MTB MLE, Dr. James A. Roldan, TLE, TVL, and Senior High School, Dr. Gloria G. Tamayo, Filipino Journalism, Dr. Charito A. Villanueva, ALS, Alive, Madrasa, Ms. Marita D. Aquino, MAPE, SPA, Mr. Andrew E. Tan, Araling Panlipunan, Dr. Marina C. Espino, Representative for the Quality Assurance Division, Dr. Lilia Riserio, Policy Planning and Research Division, OBA Coordinator, and our CLMD staff, Ms. Nancy Mabunga, Librarian 3, Mr. Eduardo Abutal, ADAS 1, and Mr. Juanito Valencia, ADAS 2. To formally start this program, may we have Dr. Malcolm S. Garma to welcome us in this session. Dr. Garma. I think Dr. Garma is not yet around, so let's call on first Mr. Joel S. Santos, the President and Co-Founder of Thames International. Sir Joel.
Yes. Okay, I'll put on my slides. Lay and Andrew, can you help Director Garma, Director Malcolm come in? So Andrew, you might want to call him or Lay. I think he's having a hard time coming in.
Copy, sir.
The links don't work because I think we're maxed out. Okay, so let me start. Good morning, everybody. I am Joel Santos, the President and Co-Founder of Thames International Business School. Welcome to the Heroes 2021 project, okay, of the Department of Education NCR, in partnership with Thames International, EduRescue Philippines, and AKADASIA Singapore. So let me just share an introductory screen to everybody. Okay, is the screen showing, Diane?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so welcome everybody. This is the Heroes 2021, or Help Educators Rise to Online Education for School Year 2021. That's the Heroes 2021 project. with Thames and DepEd NCR, with our learning partners, EduRescue and AKADASIA. So one of the things that we have realized with the pandemic is there's so much confusion and disruption. So here we are moving forward to a new normal with a clearer purpose. And all of you will be going through stage 1, and that's what we're going to talk about, which is the Flexible Learning Toolkit, which will give you a Philippines certificate from Thames and EduRescue. And then hopefully, most of you, or if not all of you, will go to stage 2, which is creating your first online course and getting a certificate from Thames International and Singapore's AKADASIA. So let me tell you a bit about what we're going to go through and why. About Thames, Thames as the proponent of this project, we are the country's first international college. We started in 1999. At that time, all of our programs were coming from UK, Singapore, and Australia. We pioneered the twinning program. But in 2005, we have now been under the Commission on Higher Education. And then this last year, 2019, was our first time to be under the Department of Education as an accredited institution. As the project proponent, Thames has been going through its digital transformation since 2018. So we've been doing blended and online education and doing this implementation with our students. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, we were able to migrate to 100% online learning. So on March 16, 2020, from a physical virtual campus, which I showed you in the picture, Thames opened as a virtual school with 100% online learning in March 16, 2020, in time when the country when particularly NCR had to go on lockdown. So we migrated 100%. That means nobody was in the campus. Everybody was working from home, whether it's registrar, academics, operations, and the students. So everything was virtual. So this is a sample of our students going through class. This is our learning management system from Singapore called FreeJu. This is where the students were able to upload and download all of their quizzes, all of their learning materials, and all of their projects, and even their quizzes. This is another sample of the classes going on with both the students. As you can see, there is the live session and the asynchronous sessions. This is a testimonial of a student. Okay. So after one term, the student said, Thames did a good job of humanizing technology. The online class experience went really smoothly and beyond my expectations. The quality of learning that we received was no less than what we could have received if the classes were done in a face-to-face setup. I think the key word here was humanizing technology. Online learning and flexible learning is not about the tech. It's still about the student and the teacher. And so humanizing technology is the key word that we'd like to focus on. On the lecturer side, it was a good day in the end. Eric Vergara, one of our lecturers, I'm happy with my class, perfect attendance, all focus on interactive discussions, deliver the quiz, surprised with the quality of responses. The online participation exceeded my expectations. So even the lecturer found the online environment conducive. So after one full term online, these are some of the learnings and results that I'd like to share with you. We were blessed that 97% of our graduating students finish on time. So the ones who didn't finish on time was not because of the online learning environment, but because they failed to submit all of their requirements, so they didn't graduate. But for all of those who submitted and fulfilled their requirements, they're graduating on time. Second, 9 out of 10 students in Thames says the online learning was an effective alternative to face-to-face because there's no other option to continue studies, and they said that the online learning was an effective alternative. It's not a replacement, but it's an alternative, given the current situation. Now, I know everybody say this connectivity issue, but what we realize in the term is that, the connectivity issue can be solved if you have content that's asynchronous. Asynchronous content means it's self-paced. And actually, that's what you're going to go through as teachers. Hindi po lahat ng online learning live sessions parang ganito. So, hindi po lahat ng online learning is a live session like this. Online learning actually has self-paced. And yung connectivity issue po natin ay nasosolve natin kung maayos ang ating ginagawang self-paced content. Finally, ito pong learning namin. 2 taon na po namin tinetrain yung mga teachers namin for online and blended learning. Pero nung nagtuturo na po sila sa one term, marami pa rin pong kailangan matutunan. So, teachers are the key. The training never stops. Hindi po natin pwede expect na overnight magiging online teachers tayo pong lahat. Tuloy-tuloy po ang ating pag-aaral dito. So, kaya po nagkaroon ng project kasi given our experience, hindi po kami yung pinaka-expert sa online learning. Nauna lang po kami, nagkaroon lang po kami ng 2 years head start. So, nauna po kami ng 2 years in advance. Yung 2 years po na yun, as a school, marami na po kaming natutunan. Marami rin po kaming pagkakamali. Pero ang importante po, nagka-experience po kami ng pagde-deliver ng online learning. Kaya po nung nagka-lockdown, tuloy-tuloy ang mga klase sa Thames International. And so, that's what we want to do. We want to share our mistakes. We want to share our successes para you don't have to repeat it. So we are here really to share because no school should be left behind. Hindi po pwede na dahil lang may pandemic, titigil tayo. And that's why we're here to help. And we really thank this opportunity to work with DepEd NCR through the progressive outlook of Director Malcolm. No? Thank you po for giving us this opportunity to help. Ito po ang talagang bayanihan. So we're here to share. And ito po yung framework natin as you go through this one. Ito lang pa para ma-share ko. These are framework on how we will conduct the classes. You are teaching, lahat po ng mga estudyante natin, ang tawag natin sa kanila Gen Z. Hindi na po sila Gen, di ba, Y. Hindi na po sila millennials. Lahat po ng ating mga estudyante, Gen Z learners. So the program is how to teach Gen Z learners. Okay? And we will also be sharing with you how to do the flipped classroom approach. The flipped classroom approach is what you're going to go through, where you're having a asynchronous or self-paced learning on your own. You will take that approach before you actually go to your live sessions na we have scheduled for you. And at the end, you will experience how it is to be a e-facilitator. So ito po yung flexible and online learning framework so that at the end of it all, we want to have effective learning continuous amidst disruptions in the country or elsewhere. So putting this in together, hindi lang po ito ang magiging pandemic natin. Sinabi na po ng World Health Organization na mayroon pang mga darating na pandemic. Tsaka po alam natin na marami tayong disruption tulad ng mga bagyo at ibang mga natural disasters. Tulad po ng Taal eruption. So tuloy, ang Pilipinas po marami talagang disruption. Nangyari, laging nagsasuffer ang ating mga pag-aaral at mga eskwelahan. So once we go to flexible and online learning hours, classes, and learning will continue despite any disruption the country may face. And so tama-tama po na simulan na natin ang pag-transition natin into flexible and online learning. So, ang training po natin, ang training partners po ng Thames are 2 very experienced institutions. So, what you're gonna get is not just we're gonna get both Philippine and Singapore perspective. Yung Thames, for the past 2 years, ang trainers po namin lahat galing Singapore. Bakit po ganun? Kasi nauna po ang Singapore sa online learning. So, dahil technology transfer po ang nangyari. So, puro po yung mga Singapore trainers na nag-train sa mga lecturers namin. So, kaya po ito yon. So, si EduRescue po is a teacher training center that was really created as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Diba? So it's really focused on teaching the frontliners in education, the teachers, right? And so the online courses of EduRescue was really made from the context of a Filipino teacher. So our other training partner, of course, AKADASIA Singapore. So AKADASIA Singapore po is the trainer who was the one who taught all of the Thames lecturers how to go online. Okay. So ito po ang magiging combination nyo. Singapore and Philippines. Kasi kailangan po contextualize in the Philippines. So it might be Singapore know-how but has to be contextualized in the Philippines. So ito po makukuha nyo, dalawang certificate, diba? Philippine certificate and a Singapore certificate. So what will you learn? Yung first stage po, yung Flexible Learning Toolkit. That's a Philippine certificate from Thames and EduRescue. So everybody, I think, is required by our DepEd NCR leadership to go through stage 1. Diba? And that's sponsored na po yan. So, you know, as a project of DepEd NCR. So sponsored na po yan. And then sa stage 2 po, create your first online learning course. It's a Singapore certificate. Naghahanap pa po tayo ng bagong sponsor for everybody. But this will be for all of those who finish stage 1. So, hindi po kayo pwede pumunta sa stage 2 and get the Singapore certificate unless you finish stage 1. Okay. So, and please remember po, the way we are teaching is hindi po tayo webinars. You have to go through the asynchronous or self-paced learning. Diba? That you will, that's part of the program. So, this is not a series of webinars. This is a full course where you have to go through the asynchronous learning, and then the webinars support your self-paced learning. And you have to finish both of that to get the certificates, both the Philippine certificate and the Singapore certificate. So, dito po muna tayo sa stage 1. Let's see how many of the DepEd NCR teachers actually finish. Pero, actually, ang ating pong objective talaga is that can we all work together to make all DepEd NCR online teachers by the school opening? Yan po talagang objective natin, di ba? Na all of the DepEd NCR becomes online teachers. Yung dapat ho, we have all of this expertise because we will need this no matter what. So, we wanted to clarify po again na to go through the course, you need to sign up not on the webinar alone, but you have to go to the heroes2021.org. Nandun po ang inyong asynchronous course. Makikita niyo po doon, DepEd NCR. So you have to register so that you can go through the course and get your certificate. You will not get a certificate by going to the webinars. You have to go through the whole asynchronous course. So, this is really a project. DepEd NCR po ang nauuna dito. Hopefully, the other regions will follow. But as you well know, DepEd NCR is usually the leader when it comes to innovation among the regions. So, kayo po ang nauna dito. And I hope that you can be an inspiration to all the other regions that all, di ba, DepEd NCR's teachers become capable for online teaching. And we are here, as I said, to help and share. So, yan po again, our objective, 100% online teachers, di ba? By school opening for the DepEd NCR. We're hoping that you will all support this kasi as teachers, we don't only teach, we also have to be the best learners. And this is your opportunity to learn new technologies, new techniques, and the way forward in the new normal. So, again, marami pong salamat sa support ni Director Malcolm and the whole leadership of the DepEd NCR for really pushing to become the first, di ba, in the country to aim for 100% online teacher capability. So thank you, and we're really honored in behalf of Thames International, EduRescue, and AKADASIA to be in partnership with DepEd NCR. Marami pong salamat, mabuhay tayong lahat. Thank you, Diane. Play. Si Director Malcolm is coming in next 10 minutes. So, would you have, papakilala ko po sa inyo ang ating instructor online. Di ba? Siya po ang founder ng EduRescue. Papakilala ko lang po si Mr. Jed Santos, who will just give you an introduction on how to register. Di ba? Before Director Malcolm comes in, just to make sure that everybody will be able to go through the program. Wala po dapat maiwanan kasi the budget for this one is for everybody. Diba? So lahat po kayo pwede talaga makatapos this course. Okay. Jed, can you please just advise them now, and while you're waiting, pwede na kayo mag-register while we're waiting for Director Malcolm.
Hello. Hello. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng teachers at saka sa mga DepEd leaders po natin sa DepEd NCR. Thank you. And sana po nasa mabuting kalagayan kayo. Ako po si Jed Santos. I'm the founder of EduRescue.org. And dito po naka-host yung Heroes2021.org. As Joel said, okay, your first step, you have to sign up sa heroes2021.org. Okay? Doon po, merong sign up and then mag-enroll po kayo sa isang course. Okay? Yung course po yun yung Flexible Learning Toolkit. Pipiliin nyo lang po dun sa course. Now, this program, just like what Joel said, hindi po to webinar. Okay? It is actually a full course. Yung may experience nyo dito sa Heroes 2021 is the same courses na ginagamit ng ibang university sa ibang bansa, katulad ng mga Stanford, University of Singapore, National University of Singapore, etc. So, ang tawag po dito ay MOOC, M-O-O-C, Massive Open Online Course. Okay? So, some of you may have experienced that already, but our approach here in Heroes 2021 is a MOOC together with live courses, with live sessions, just like this webinar. So magsa-self-pace muna po kayo, and then dun po matututunan nyo yung mga ibang concept, and then po magkakaroon tayo ng live to enforce what you will learn in those courses. So ang first step po, ulitin ko, you have to register first in Heroes 2021. And then, meron na po dong schedule dun sa DepEd NCR page po natin in Heroes 2021 on the live courses. And then you will register. Okay? So, I'll be around for the Q&A po para kung meron kayong questions about the asynchronous or self-paced side of our course. Okay? So, Diane?
I-share ko po yung page ng i-share ko po sa inyo yung page ng Heroes para po makita nyo So ito po yung Heroes na page. Ito po yung website, di ba? Heroes2021.org. So pagpunta nyo po dyan sa page na yan, makikita nyo po yan. Yan, Heroes 2021. Help educators rise to online education by school year 2021. Yan po objective natin. Makikita nyo po dito yung schedule ng ating live webinars. Ito po yung announcement. Tapos dito po kayo magre-register. Ito po yon, yung Heroes 20 Stage 1 po. Wag niyo po, ito po yung cost ng course, 3,000 pesos. Pero meron po kayong coupon galing sa inyong mga district supervisors. So nasa inyo po yung coupon code, mag-register po kayo. Hindi po kayo magbabayad ng 3,000. That's why you need to get your coupon code. Okay? So, I hope you really take advantage kasi itong course po na to, as you can see, hindi po siya mura, pero we've been able to get sponsorships para po kayong lahat makasali dito. So, please make sure you get your coupon code and go to Heroes21. Diyan po kayo magla-log in, diyan po kayo magsa-sign up. So, we hope that all DepEd NCR teachers can now sign up right after this live session so that you can get started with your course. Again po, ito po yung course nyo, Heroes 21 Flexible Learning Toolkit for DepEd NCR. Okay, so with that po, magsisimula na po tayo with our online course. We will invite po si Ms. Sheila Dingong, the Associate Dean of Thames International. Expert po yan sa flexible learning. Okay, siya po ang magsa-start ng session natin today. Hi, Sheila.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Hindi na ba darating si Director Malcolm?
He's just having a hard time getting in, so we'll start with you first.
Sige. Mamaya na siya magsasalita. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay, nakikita niyo po ba? Sagot. So are you seeing my screen?
Yes, Ms. Sheila.
Okay, thank you very much for that response, Lei. Okay, so what I will be sharing with you today is an introduction to flexible learning. As mentioned earlier by Sir Joel, learning is not just through webinars. You always have to learn by doing. So we have to go through the journey of an online learning class through the Flexible Learning Toolkit 101 in order for us to experience, it's actually feeling it. It's not just knowing it in our minds. So it's really the affective dimension of learning. Okay, so let's move on. A little introduction. So I'm an academic professional, a teacher and online facilitator. I was trained by the World Bank Institute on online facilitation in 2010. So that was like 10 years ago. And I have been training teachers, private school teachers across the country on online facilitation. I'm also a researcher. I design courses. So I teach courses that I actually design myself. No, they are not the regular courses that we already have. I'm a knowledge networker because I want to learn some more. So I seek connections with my colleagues from other institutions. I'm a teacher trainer and a project manager too. So I'm also a student. I'm trying to complete a degree in public administration, hopefully soon. I'm also a practitioner. I'm a financial consultant in Thames International. Our lecturers, our teachers are practitioners in the industry. So we value the actual practice of our teachers in the field, so that they can bring that wisdom into our classrooms, I'm a family woman and I'm a Filipino citizen. Okay, so what will I share with you today? 2 things, all about flexible learning. Of course, when we know about flexible learning, we also need to know what is the corresponding flexible teaching that we should pair with the flexible learning. Okay? So just 2 things, short. So coronavirus came. This is a phenomenal event in everybody all over the world. We haven't experienced this type of a pandemic, and this has changed our lives. Really changed our lives. It has turned it upside down, actually. It has changed the way we live, the way we interact with each other, the way it changed our behavior in terms of going to work, in terms of studying, and of course, our education system, studying. So we now have empty classrooms in our schools because of social distancing. Now we cannot be very close to each other. The human need for touch is controlled by this virus. So we have to adapt to the situation. So we cannot go to school. So what is our response to that? Here, in every crisis, we have to remember that there is danger. Yes, we feel pain, we're threatened, We even have to go through the agony of the difficulties of the changes. But on the other hand, we also have opportunity. And so it is always positive thinking that we should have in us, in our perspective, in looking at difficulties and crises, because it is also during crisis situations when we get that opportunity for some drastic changes, you know, things that we hope will change now can be done because the opportunity was provided to us by the crisis. Okay, so I've been advocating for online learning and teaching for the past 10 years, and of course there's a lot of difficulty, there's a lot of resistance from traditional policies, traditional practices of doing online. You know, um, the changes are very small, you know, very incremental, because we still want the same thing. But now that we have this crisis and everybody is now forced to do flexible learning, and particularly in the NCR, we go online. Now I'm so happy about it that you know, education will realize the potential of online learning and how it can enrich the quality of learning of our students, as well as evolve the mindset, you know, transform the mindset of our educators from the usual banking system, from the usual sage on the stage role, from the usual I am the source of all information, to now a more empowering learning experience for our students. Okay, so moving on, I got this definition from uh, the internet, University of Southern Queensland. And of course, we always hear this often from our DepEd Secretary, Ma'am Liling Briones. Yeah, pretty much sums up what flexible learning is. So it's really providing the opportunities in student learning experience through flexibility in time. Now, we really go beyond time here. We don't fix time limits to learning. And also the pace, you know, the how fast or slow learners are in learning, or even teachers, how fast or slow we are in teaching. The place, of course, the physical, virtual, on-campus, off-campus location of learning. Now, it doesn't matter really. Mode of study, is it print-based, face-to-face, blended, online? Do you consider this face-to-face now that you're all looking at me at the same time? Teaching approach, is it collaborative, group, team, or is it independent? Students can also be solo learners. You know, they prefer to be doing it alone. The MOOCs, massive open online courses, are basically independent courses. So those who are highly self-directed and independent learners can really go through the MOOCs very easily. It may utilize a wide range of media, environments, learning spaces, and technologies for learning and teaching. So flexible. The word itself will tell us that we are not constrained by the usual norms and standards, because we are given the opportunity to explore and experiment this time. Okay? So learning is anywhere and everywhere, anytime and anywhere. I like this picture. You know, it shows different. It gives me different meanings. You know, with the old woman and the young boy, with the computer, with the laptop and the bayong, with the setup on the grass. And maybe this is in the provinces. It it tells us that learning, number one, is lifelong. It doesn't stop. Yeah, okay. So we have to continuously learn. It also says that learning can be equalizing. You know, equalizing. There's no podium in front or in the center where the teacher is there, but both young and old can learn from each other. You know, as teachers, we are we are specialists in our subject matter content. We are subject matter experts. Yeah. But when it comes to technology, The Gen Z learners today are more experts than us. Technology is natural for them. That's their world. So we have to be very careful because they may know better. Well, they really know better than us in terms of technology when it comes to technology. So learning now becomes democratic, you know. You don't enforce, you don't push people, but you know, it becomes something that everybody wants to do because it is liberating. Okay? So flexible learning is really owning the place and space of learning. And I'd like to share with you some components or maybe ingredients of talking about owning the place and space of learning. So number one, technology as a way of life. If for the baby boomers, for the Gen X, and even the older millennials, technology may be a tool. For the younger millennials and the Gen Z, technology is really a way of life. It's part of their lives. You know, it's some say it's really even attached to them, to their person. Yeah, they always have it on their hands, in their pockets, inside their bags, wherever they go. Yeah. And I've proven that. I've always asked my students in exercises in the beginning of classes, look into your bags, what's the most important thing to you and why? You know, what's the most valuable, you know? Maybe 90%, 85%. Yeah. Would choose their cell phones. You know, the others would say, "Oh, I didn't choose my cell phone because that's a given already. I cannot, I cannot live without my cell phone." So see, that's it. Because the cell phone for them has plenty of uses, not just the usual call. It's not just for communication. It's a lot more. It's a mirror for them. You know? They use it as a mirror. It's a alarm clock. It's a whole lot of uses. Flexible learning is student-generated content. Means a lot of content can be generated by students. Okay, and we'll talk more about that in a while. Flexible learning means being connected. Students should be connected to learn. They cannot be isolated. You know, the feeling of isolation can also be felt in the beginning when you enter the online world. But later on, you will develop the connection once you get the feel and you know the ins and outs of online learning and teaching. Flexible learning is mobile. Yan. Sinabi rin ni DepEd Secretary na we can use our cell phones because there are more cell phones in the Philippines than people. Yan. See, I think there are 170 million or so cell phones in the country. And that's how many percent more than our population. See, so mahilig talaga tayo sa telepono, you know. I remember before my household helper, may kasambahay, had 2 cell phones with her. Di ba? Talagang, I cannot understand eh. Parang, talagang ganon. It's part of the persona now of the Gen Z. Flexible learning is personalized. So, it's the opposite of, what is the opposite of personalized? It's not anymore standardized. You know, there's no one size fits all. You cannot test unique individuals in the same way, because definitely those who are not adept or attuned to the type of assessment that you're giving will definitely fail. So see, now we're looking at personalizing learning for our students. And lastly, adapting space to the learner's needs. And this is very important, you know. That's why we're all very careful adapting whatever flexible learning modalities can be applicable in our different places. In the provinces, maybe in the rural areas, we have to consider their internet connectivity. That's why we introduce some other forms of learning modalities, and that's something I think the DepEd is preparing for. But for NCR, definitely I think we will not have problems in terms of connectivity. But of course, I don't say that we have fast internet connection, but in terms of the availability, it's there. It's just a matter of access, maybe, how we can provide access to our public school students and also public school teachers. Okay, but the infrastructure is there. Okay, I have to be mindful of my time. Okay, so technology as a way of life. You see a picture here of young kids. They are low focus. We always say that, but that doesn't mean that they're lazy. Okay, because they are highly efficient individuals. They're highly efficient multitaskers. They can do several things at the same time. Is this good or bad? I don't know. I don't want to judge, but we can look, we can see them, we can test them, we can, develop this capability of being highly efficient in them. And of course, the low focus is something that we also have to look into. If this is because the stimulus, the external stimulus, is not motivating them to give focus, or other things are more stimulating. Yeah. So it's really high time for us to think about how boring we are, or how engaging we are, how animated we are, or how routinary, everything is just the same all over again. I had a co-faculty before in one of the colleges that I teach, that every time she prepares to go to class, she would always say na, it's performance time. It's like she's preparing for a performance. So every class for her is a performance. Oh, she said it's showtime. Yeah. So it's really showtime. She really gives her best to connect with her students, to get the attention of her students. And that's really how we should do it. So technology is seamlessly and completely integrated into the Gen Z life. 90% of them actually have digital footprint na. So they're born into it. So about student generated content. So basically this talks about students producing the content that they want to learn and sharing it with their peers and even with a wider audience because of the internet. Yeah? They have blogs, they have a lot of social media accounts, so they can share their output in class. The main benefit of this is really the process of content creation and knowledge construction, as well as, well, not only the end product, but the process of being able to produce that output, that content, and how the students were able to learn about the topic because of that creation that they did. Okay, so from being consumers, they're now part of the creation of the content, as well as consumers also. So the benefits are moving them from being passive learners to active learners. Again, I think that was mentioned, or if not, active learning is really so high in online learning, I tell you. Yeah, that's one thing that I really learned from online teaching, online facilitation, how active students can be. And actually, it's giving me a lot of work. Online teaching, by the way, requires us to give more time and effort and energy. That's the truth. And we should take note of that. So learners, students become active because they create, and this ensures better content retention for them and richer understanding because they're doing it themselves. Also, it gives them ownership over their learning. Like, I did this, I achieved this. It gives them a high sense of accomplishment, contributes to their self-esteem. And then, of course, it provides real-world audience and applications for their work. Now standard recruitment policies of companies is to check the person, the applicant's exposure in the internet, checking the person's social media account. However this person is presenting himself or herself in the internet. That's now standard recruitment process. So they should put out the valuable things that they're able to create in school, right? And then, of course, allow them to produce work of lasting value. There's value in it. There's contribution, maybe how to solve a certain problem in the community, how to answer a certain need in a certain sector of society, etc., etc. And then, of course, because of active learning and doing it, creating it, they develop skills. Okay. Next is that flexible learning is being connected. So knowledge is in the network. You know, it's not being alone. You know, learning style is different from learning preferences. So you can be an independent learning, but you can also be very auditory. You can be kinesthetic. So there is a need for you to connect. The Gen Z people needs to connect. So they are very engaged in social media, and this really emanates from the pedagogy of connectivism. Okay. And this learning theory explains how the internet technologies have created new opportunities for people to learn and share information across the wide web and among themselves. This follows constructivism and the previous pedagogies of cognitivism and behaviorism, right? But once again, we don't just stick to one pedagogy, one learning theory. We can actually use the different learning theories across depending on situations, but we also have to consider the significant role of technology today in our students' learning. Mobile. Okay, so flexible learning is mobile. Number one, 2/3 of learners are already on smartphones, making it a handy medium of gaining knowledge. Yeah, okay. I don't know who is the youngest person who has who already has a cell phone, but yeah, they're getting pretty young. You know, they're getting younger and younger by the day. They already have a cell phone. They have tablets. You know, in terms of for them to play, to do art, to color. So they're really now digital. Mobile devices provide a level of flexibility not seen or felt before. A course started on a PC or tablet can be completed on a mobile. Yeah, that's also how I teach. I have laptop, I have a tablet, I have my phone, and anywhere I am, even if I'm in the bathroom, I can actually teach. Even if I am resting, I can still teach because I have my cell phone. As long as you have a gadget, you can teach anywhere. I can attend a webinar while driving, because I'm just listening. I can, I can talk to my student, pretty much anywhere because of mobility. Number 3, learning takes place without the hassles of the preamble to start learning. They can learn when and where they want to. Learning is more contextual and heuristic because learners are on the move. Again, active learning. Flexible learning is personalized. Okay, I don't know if some of you will react, because we're so used to standardized testing, standardized this and that, standardized everything. It's pretty much tailored in the old educational system that emanated during the post-industrial revolution, or even before the industrial revolution, wherein the school is like a factory system. We produce students, graduates by batch, according to their manufacturing date, without taking into consideration the different learning capabilities of our students. Of course, we do promote some of our advanced students, fast learners, and we also have these learners who are demoted or have to repeat the grade level. So see, there are differences. Each and every student is unique. So there are 7 principles of personalized learning. First is choice and voice. Students express their learning styles and preferences as learners in the lesson. So we can ask our students during the first day of class, how do you want to learn? How do you want to learn? Yeah. So at least this will give us an idea of the different forms and format of giving them content and asking them for student output. Okay. Yeah, that leads us to the next, varied strategies. So if we know the different learning styles and preferences of our students, we would come up with varied strategies. Okay. And then because it's personalized online primarily, it has flexible pacing. As mentioned, online learning is really like 75% asynchronous and only 25% synchronous or live, like what we're doing right now. So the pacing is really flexible. You can just do it, you can design your online classes on a weekly basis or maybe per topic, but duration is still pretty much important, but not that we stick to a specific time every day. It's not, it shouldn't be that way anymore. Okay, just in time direct instruction. If you have materials in your online classes, you should include instructions there very clearly. And when your student would require some more guidance or mentoring from you, the student should be able to connect with you in real time, maybe through phone or maybe through chat or video call. Co-planning learning. So you talk about it, not only between students and the teacher, but also including the parents. Now that the parents are what we call our co-partners, or there's an exact term for our parents now, or our guardians at home, who are pretty much our co-partners, our partners in the learning process, as our students are now at home, based at home. So we involve them. We should get feedback from them, how their kids or the children at home are doing in terms of learning. They should be there to guide the students. It's not automatic for the Gen Z to actually also adapt to online learning right away, easily. They've been so used to spoon feeding. They've been so used to going to class, to the residential classes. So we also have to actually support them and help them, assist them to adapt to the online learning, because sometimes they would think, oh, is this right, or can this be allowed or something? Okay, so we also co-plan with them. Mastery-based assessment. So students drive the curriculum rather than the curriculum driving the students. Assessments are guided by proficiency and competency. Actually, aside from asking my students how they want to learn, I also would ask them what they want to learn. Because maybe they really don't want to learn my subject, but they're just forced to learn. See? And that's also not so ideal. I really don't want to force any student to learn. Choosing their courses is really up to them. It's not up to the parents or up to anybody, external influences. It's really finding their own strengths and, their goals in life, and where they're happy in. Yeah, I asked them pretty much what they want to learn specifically, and it will become easier for me to teach them, because they're interested. If what they want to learn is what you're teaching, they're interested about it. Choice for demonstrating learning. So students have multiple ways to demonstrate mastery of standards. They can leverage both technology tools and traditional tools. So they can still use pen and paper. We should have learning toolkits for those with no online connectivity. Use mobile, even radio and the TV, but these are pretty much one way. So we just provide content through radio and TV, but the students would have to give their responses, or their answers in another way. Okay, so next. Adapting space to learners' needs. Okay, so this can be physical, blended, or virtual spaces. Again, this is very important because we are very conscious now of the situation of our students, especially with the pandemic. And there's really the threat is real in terms of our health safety, the safety of our health. So we should know if they will have a space in the first place for them to learn. Have this, the place should be conducive. But we also would recognize that some may be comfortable in doing everything digital. Some may be still wanting. Gen Z, I was surprised actually that Gen Z actually would want more face-to-face interaction compared with the millennials. The millennials are the ones who are able to, establish relationships, get married without seeing each other. They see each other during their wedding, but before that, all the courting and the maintenance of the relationship, development of the relationship, were all done online. But the Gen Z students are more wanting now to have face-to-face or human interaction, and this is because they're really social. The connection level is there, but definitely technology is part of their way of life. So we have to be very conscious about this, adapting to the learner's needs. So if they have no internet connection, what will we do? That's also why asynchronous for online learning is preferred, because it's a lot less of the internet bandwidth compared to live sessions. Yan. Okay, so there. So are you prepared to teach in August? Time check, it's 12. Are you prepared to teach in August? So I want you to go to just a short exercise, menti.com, and this is the code 744929. I'm sure you're already familiar with menti.com. Let's just check on how prepared are you, or are you prepared to teach in August? So very simple. We have a lot of chat, basically greetings, but you also do have a lot of questions. Can I? So are you now looking at your screens? Okay, so I do have a lot of responses now. Share screen, and I will go to my Mentimeter. Okay, so here we're looking at 3 answers: yes, maybe, no. Okay, so are you prepared to teach in August 2020? Let's see. Let's have more responses. Come on. A lot of maybes, This is going to be helpful for the Department of Education, for DepEd NCR, to gauge the feelings of our teachers in terms of preparedness. Come on, more. I think we have 500 people in our Zoom and a lot more in Facebook. But even in Facebook, they can actually contribute. They can actually respond to this Mentimeter. Okay, maybe we have 129 yes. Yeah, prepared. 75 no. Okay, another 30 seconds. Okay. Okay, yeah. So 438 maybe. So still, that's right. I think your sentiment of feeling not so sure, but also, not zero, is just quite right. And of course, this training program is gonna help us move into the yes. Okay, so let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. Oh, I don't think you can see my PowerPoint. See, I'm not so good with technology. Share screen, share. There. Okay. So now let's move on to flexible teaching. Okay. So that was flexible learning, now flexible teaching. So in flexible teaching, the teacher roles focus on helping, supporting students to become more responsible and autonomous. The teacher addresses students' motivation for and methods of learning as much as mastery, retention of content. So the process now is more important. The process. It is how you get there. It's not really what's there at the end, the mastery and retention. it's a balance. It's a balance, you know, but the process is really very important. It has been like, I think 3 years now since I have stopped giving final exams to my students. Can you do that? How can you assess your students without giving them this summative test of a final exams, which is usually the most dreaded exam in school. And flexible teaching focuses attention on the learner's control over learning. Okay, so the student should have control over learning with the intention of increasing their capacity for exercising responsibility and autonomy in learning. Okay, so a teacher's day is not really the same. For a teacher, no 2 days are alike or should be alike, you know, in terms of flexible teaching. Because flexible teaching is variable. It doesn't mean you're subjective. It doesn't mean that you don't apply the same fairness to your students. It's variable. I will discuss more about this in a while. It's contextual. It's being a guide on the side, a facilitator of learning. It is maximizing technology. It is creating and curating digital and various contents. It is building professional learning networks. Again, it's not just you. You will not learn much by yourself. So it's variable. Now is the time to reinvent ourselves. You know, we cannot just be just the same in this kind of a setup. We will not be effective anymore if we remain to be the same classroom teacher as we were last year or early this year. And so it just means that we should reinvent our strategies every year. If we did this year, next year, we should design new activities for our students. We should create new outputs for them, you know. Maybe the best ones can be retained, but not all the time. I used to have this, when I was studying, when younger years, we usually have brands for our teachers, right? Or what we call, you know, we have these tags for them that, oh, this teacher will just report in his class. Oh, this teacher, he will just do his lecture without even looking at us. Oh, the teacher talks to the blackboard and all that. So see, our teachers are boxed into their usual teaching strategy. But now's the time for us to reinvent ourselves. Nothing is fixed in stone. We have to transform so that we can evolve. If not, we will be like dinosaurs and become extinct, okay? But you know what? I used to ask that question when I started online teaching. That will technology really replace teachers in the long run because of the, you know, the improvement of technology is really so fast, and our role is becoming more on the side instead of being the center of attention. You know, you are the sage on stage. And you know what? Today, I realized that we are becoming actually more important as teachers in our role in educating our students. Yes, and we will discover that some more in the next weeks to come if we will continue on our training, because my time is limited. So keep calm and stay grounded. Contextualize. Do not think of what is effective in the US, we will apply it here right away. No, contextualize. What is on the ground? What are the needs of my students? What is the situation? What is the scenario? What are the available resources, etc., etc. Okay? As a guide on the side, a learning facilitator, we're like this coach. You know, when the game starts, you go on the side, and then the students will learn. The students will do the game. Okay, they will do the actual game. So that's a role now. But when there's time out, and then you talk to them, you provide the guidance and the wisdom for them to be able to achieve their goals, which is to win the game, you know, for a sports coach. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so that's a guide on the side. And yes, as online teachers, you have to now have a higher competency level or computer literacy, high computer literacy. Yeah, I call that the high computercy level. Yeah, so we have to learn new tricks. We have to learn tools. We have to learn the internet. You know, we have to explore some more and experiment. You know, we have to maximize because now is the time to maximize technology. You know, technology is so wonderful. It can give us a lot of wonderful stuff. You know, the world, the internet is full of wonderful resources. It's just there. You know, it's just for us to borrow, you know, and maybe recreate for our own purpose. So yeah, we should maximize technology as much as we can. Here, creating and curating digital content. So now we transform our usual classroom materials, instructional materials and content to digital or to other forms. Maybe it can be audio, because if you want to put it on air, in the radio, or if you want to deliver it in TV shows. But pretty much for online learning, you have to transform it into a digital format. And also, you can do curation with a lot of materials available in the internet. You know, you can borrow the whole thing, but you can also improve on it. That's basically curation. You borrow content and then you improve it. You put it into your own content so that it will become enriched and it will be tailor fitted to your students. You just get what you need. And of course you cite, you know, acknowledgement is very important. You know, a lot of the things are free now in the internet, but the courtesy of acknowledging your source and acknowledging where the knowledge come from. Okay, it's very important to you. And then lastly, we should build our professional learning network. We should have at least one professional network. We should belong to a learning community, a community of inquiry and practice. And here are some reasons why we need our own personal learning network. And you know, it will really help you a lot, you know, in terms of finding great resources, lesson plans. You know, you get inspiration. You can connect globally, you know, with the internet. It's so easy to connect with teachers in Europe, in other Asian countries, in the US, in Canada, in wherever, you know. You flatten your classroom walls. It's not about your school anymore only, you know. You share best practices with other schools, you know, similar schools with you. You share, and then you also receive information or new knowledge from them. So you help one another. If they have some strengths in this field or discipline, they can share with you, and you can also share with them your own strengths in a specific discipline or any practice. Never run out of ideas for new things to try with your students. Yes, because of course, if there are a lot of people thinking, you know, and creating and designing, a lot of ideas will come out. So that's very important. At least for all of you, for each one of you, you should have at least one professional learning network. Okay? So I think that's, yeah, the last. So keep calm. It's the new normal. Relax. Nobody's really prepared for this pandemic. We all have to adapt to the new normal, continue on with our lives and our students' education. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Sheila. And I think we have Director Malcolm already. So may we ask Director Malcolm to give us a few, you know, his opening remarks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joel. No, but I would like to apologize, no, for disrupting the flow of the program. I'm supposed to give the opening remarks or part of the opening remarks, but you know, I had some difficulty accessing the link, and at the same time, doing a simultaneous meeting and presentation in another virtual. You know, this is, I think, the problem now that you know, people are more accessible to attend meetings and to attend more trainings like this. Pwede na ngayon sabay-sabay, no? We can do it simultaneously, as long as you have the number or the right number of gadgets, and of course the connectivity. So Joel, I would like to thank you and Thames International, and also our partner from Singapore, AKADASIA, and all, of course, all the facilitators that joining us this morning, and of course the participants in this training program. I have heard that aside from the 500, more than 500 participants joining us in this session, there are around 8,000 actually viewing us via FB live stream. So this only shows that many are very much interested in having this kind of capacity building program, as we have shifted already to what we call as the new normal of delivering education to the homes of our learners. So I have captured some of the statements of Ma'am Sheila, and I truly agree with her that nobody, I think, is prepared for this. And the best thing that we can do right now is really to adapt and to evolve with it. But the process of adapting and the process of evolving would be much difficult if we will not really capacitate ourselves on how to do this. So just to share with you, and of course to our participants, that this training program is actually a partnership between DepEd NCR, Thames International, and our Singapore partner. And this was done through our network, that what we call as the NCR Education Forum. So it was Joel who approached us and asked us what can be done, what can be done by Thames, as part of their service. So ito na yun, so I think this is the result of that partnership, of that conversation. And I just hope that the 8,000 or 9,000 participants that we have would be able to sustain their participation in this training program. So this is not the usual 2 to 3 day training, but it's more elaborate, and we would like to recognize in the form of certification the participants of this training program. I was also informed, Joel, that I think there are also teachers who are not from NCR, but they are viewing us via live stream, via the FB Live. So in the National Capital Region, what we would like to do in terms of learning delivery is really to adopt the distance learning modality, which is basically focused on the modular home study program. For the information of our facilitators, so NCR, because of our consideration to the digital divide that we are still experiencing, even here in the National Capital Region. So we use the tool of using modules or printed modules as the default tool for at least the first 2 grading periods, until such time that the infrastructure is able to catch up in terms of the connectivity, in terms of the availability of hardwares and softwares. But I think one important aspect that we really have to prepare for is really the readiness of our teachers. This is something also that we consider as new to them. So we would like to build that level of confidence among our teachers that, in the near future, this will be it. This will be the kind of learning and teaching that will happen in the new landscape of education. Well, not only in the Philippines, but I think it's something that we are thinking in a more global perspective. So I hope our teacher participants would sustain their attendance and gain something out of this. Again, we are very thankful, Joel, and to Thames International for providing us with this very valuable training program for free. But this is just a stage 1. So we are just on the first stage, no, of the entire training program. So there will be a second stage. And then we will be discussing this again with Joel and the group. And hopefully we'll be able to source out more funding para maibigay ulit natin ito ng libre, no, sa ating mga guro. Foremost, of course, everything will not be possible without our teachers. So the teachers are right now the most valuable asset that we have in the education department. So we value your presence, we value your talents, we value your skills, we value your capacities and abilities. And we would like to improve them further so that we will be able to respond to this challenge, no, altogether. So again, thank you. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Director Malcolm. We have two training partners, di ba? We have kasi all of our DepEd participants will be getting 2 certificates. For stage 1 po, our learning partners EduRescue Philippines. They will be giving the certificate together with Thames International. And then for stage 2 naman, our learning partner is AKADASIA from Singapore. So all of our teachers are getting the best of both worlds, diba? Singapore knowledge, and then also contextualized in the Philippine setting through EduRescue. So thank you, Director Malcolm. We'll now go through the Q&A, and in our Q&A, you will have both Ms. Sheila Dingkong, who just gave you her lecture, and also the founder of EduRescue, who will be your online teacher and asynchronous teacher during this time, Mr. Jed Santos. So you can address your questions to them, anything under the sun, although unfortunately we only have 10 to 15 minutes left. But Sheila, Jed, please take the floor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think Jed can answer this. After po ba nitong seminar, may ma-receive po ba kami ng certificate? What will be this online course start? From Teacher Regina Modesto.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for that question. I think that's a question for a lot of people are asking, no? Well, yan po ang maganda sa tinatawag nating self-paced course. Meron lang pong start date and then pwede kayo pumasok anytime. But the thing with our program po, meron tayong self-paced saka meron tayong live. So sana po, since nag-open na yung course ngayon, pasok na po kayo sa course. And sa ano po yun? heroes2021.org. Tapos meron na pong instructions doon how to sign up. So do the self-paced courses po, and then nandun rin po yung schedule ng live. Okay? So pagdating po sa self-paced course, kung first time nyo po mag-self-paced course, you go through the course, and then pwede po kayo mag-pause, mag-rewind, at pwede kayong bumalik. The system po, yung platform natin, na monitor po nila ang progress nyo. So kung saan po kayo tumigil, kunyari kailangan nyo nang kumain ng lunch, pagbalik nyo po, i-continue nyo po doon yung self-paced courses nyo. And our self-paced courses naman po, usually mga 5 minutes po or less ang mga video. So hindi naman po siya mahaba. So madali pong mag-pause anytime, and then you just follow the schedule na nandun sa website para dun sa live like this one. So I think our next one na live is July 16. Am I right, Sheila? No?
Yes, on Thursday, yes. But I think we have to clarify that with just attending this webinar or the other succeeding webinars, you will not be able to get your certificate. You have to undergo the asynchronous training in Heroes 2021. Okay? That's clear. We also have a question from Sir Rivera, Rolando Rivera. Good afternoon. I'm 57 years old now, and I was encouraged about what you mentioned a while ago. But I don't know how can I concentrate to Gen Z learners. But I would like to share something to my student and enroll in your courses. Do you think that I can be better in my age? Of course. learning is lifelong. This goes beyond any age. It's not about age. Actually, we have faculty members who are beyond 60 and they were able to learn the new tricks of technology and adapt to online learning. So definitely po, Sir Rolando, pwede pa po kayo. Sign up na po kayo dun sa Heroes 2021 and sigurado po ako kayang-kaya niyong matapos yon. If in case you're gonna have a problem, just ask anybody in the house, maybe your son, daughter, or maybe even your apo if you already have one. Matutulungan po nila kayo.
Can I answer?
Thank you.
Also, can I add to that?
Sorry, Jed. Let me just... Ito po yung ito po uli. Mag-sign up po kayo doon sa ating website, yung www.heroes2021.org. Again po, yung Philippines and Singapore, di ba dalawa pong certificate ang hinahabol natin, Philippines and Singapore. Please remember, you will not get the certificate by going to the webinars. You will have to go through the full course po. Na, as Director Malcolm said, naiiba, ito po ay totoong course, hindi po to seminar. This is really a course. So, i-separate po natin yung seminar tsaka course. Hindi po to seminar. This is a full course. Talagang mag-aaral po tayo kasi ang being online po, hindi po yan nakukuha sa seminar lang. Kailangan po ng formal training. So this is a formal training at ma-experience nyo po ang being an online student. Bago po maging online teacher, maganda po ma-experience natin maging online student. And makikita niyo po yan, si Mr. Jed Santos po ang magiging online teacher nyo sa kanyang mga asynchronous classes. Doon nyo po makikita yan sa heroes2021.org. Nandun po, i-click, mag-register muna po kayo doon. Makukuha nyo yung, tandaan po, kunin nyo po yung coupon codes nyo from your supervisors and then you can now sign up. Pasensya na po kasi as of now po, this is a DepEd NCR project. The funding po ay sa DepEd NCR project. And please get in touch with Thames. Pwede po namin kausapin yung mga regional director nyo po if you're outside NCR and how we can help. But for now po, it is a DepEd NCR project and sila po ngayon yung may coupons. But we would like to help the other regions. But please get in touch po with Thames. And we will see how we can work with the other regions. Yun lang po. Sorry, Jed, please continue.
Okay. I'll build on what Joel was also saying po. Ang ibig sabihin po ng webinar is a seminar on the web. Ang iti-take niyo po is what we call an online course. So it's an online class po. So ang difference po is isa seminar, isa class. Kaya po, you have to register po in a class. Di ba po? Kailangan mag-enroll po kayo. So, doon po yon sa heroes2021.org. And building up doon po sa question na sinabi kay Ma'am Sheila, kay Mr. Rivera, I like your question po. And I had to add on because I like working with seniors when it comes to online learning. Bakit? Actually, ang background ko po, I also run a school, sister school po namin ang Thames International. I run a school in Batangas po, and we're a middle market school. And ang college po namin may education program, and most of the mga teachers na graduate namin become public school teachers. So nakikita ko po ang teachers mula nung college sila, all the way hanggang nag-graduate sila and they start working sa private and sa public schools. Now, the seniors po are very important in online learning because of their wisdom. Kayo po, Mr. Rivera, yung wisdom niyo po as a 57-year-old teacher, hindi po kayang palitan yan. Hindi po kaya namin yung mga younger teachers, yung wisdom na meron po kayo. So, importante pong kasama natin ang ating mga senior teachers dito sa online learning. Hindi po to pwede sa mga young lang. Di ba po? So, the way we approach po ang online learning po is three things po. There's the technology part, there's the pedagogy part, and there's the strategy part. Ang tawag po namin 3Gs. Para madaling tandaan, no? Pedagogy, strategy, and technology. Kayo po, and also our teachers here sa DepEd NCR, magaling na po kayo sa pedagogy at magaling rin kayo po sa strategy, sa teaching. Kulang na lang po is technology. So, ganyan po yung kino-cover natin sa training. Diba? I think most of you will focus on the pedagogy and the technology. For the more seniors, I think they will focus more on the technology part. So, isa na lang po ang kulang nyo. So, hindi naman po malayo ang kailangan yung, di ba, Ma'am Sheila? Hindi naman malayo. Technology lang ang kulang ni Mr.
Yeah.
Teacher, siguro na technology, ang tawag doon, yung medyo hirap sa technology. Okay, so, meron pong pag-asa. Sa out of the 3, kuha nyo na po yung 2. Let's focus on some of our trainings. We'll focus on the technology po and paano nyo lang i-approach.
Marami ho tayong simple apps and tools online. Hindi ho kailangan yung komplikado ang gamitin natin. Kahit simple lang po, mas maganda. May question pa ho na isa, kung if they're not able to attend all the webinars, can they still get the certificate? I believe so, because these webinars will not be the basis of your certificate, but your enrollment and attendance and completion in the asynchronous online class. Okay, so it's all right if you're not able to make it on Thursday or Saturday and just come back next week for the webinars, but make sure you go through our online class at Heroes 2021. It's 12:30.
Sheila,
I think our time is up. Yes?
There's another question that's interesting, yung personalized learning. I saw it somewhere.
Okay.
Let me just answer the coupon kasi Andrew, can you they're all asking, the coupon is with the district supervisor, am I right, Andrew? There are 16 districts in NCR and your coupons are with your district supervisors. Just please get in touch with your specific district supervisor for your coupons. Okay. Will there be grading? I think if you can answer that, Jed. Will there be an exam? Will there be an assessment for every certificate? Yes. Jed, please answer that. I think that's an important question.
Ang sagot po dyan, yes po. And actually, as you go through our self-paced courses on heroes2021.org, as you go through each module, each lecture po, ang tawag sa isang module is a lecture. So each lecture is around 3 minutes lang. Every so often, makakakita po kayo ng checkpoint quiz. Okay po? And actually, magandang example po yan pag nag-asynchronous lesson na kayo. Yung checkpoint quiz are simple questions na sasagutin niyo lang po regarding yung sa topic. So bago kayo mag-move on, kailangan masagot niyo yung question para makamove ng tama, para makamove on kayo sa next lecture. Diba? So kailangan may mastery muna dun sa unang lecture. And actually with that, I'll build on the question na nakita ko na is very interesting. Someone asked about personalized learning, Ma'am Sheila, na paano gagawin yung personalized learning? Sa public school, 1:50. Hindi naman 1:20 or 1:. So I'd like to answer that. And then, but I will not go into details kasi I think mako-cover yan dito sa course. But just to give you a preview, paano yon? Tama po yung sinabi nyo. Sinasabi, personalized learning. Dati po mahirap talaga yon nung traditional classroom tayo. Kasi kung may 50 students ka per section, kunyari 3 section mo, 150 students po ang kailangan nyo i-personalize. Tama po ba? Mahirap talaga yon dati. Pero ngayon, dahil sa online learning, merong technology part. Doon po papasok yung technology and it makes personalized learning possible. Bigyan ko po kayo ng example doon sa heroes2021.org natin as you go through the course. There will probably be 10,000 students po na mag-enroll dito. Or even more, kung lahat ng NCR mag-enroll. Pagpasok niyo po, imagine niyo po, how do we manage itong 10,000 students? That is through technology. Yung checkpoint quiz po na sinabi niyo, pag sinagot niyo po yon, automatic po, sine-check ng system namin yung percentage, sino tama, sino mali. And dahil meron kami nung information na yon, when we move on at dinesign namin yung next webinar nyo, alam namin po ang comprehension level or kung saan kayo nahihirapan na topic. Ito po, yan ang maganda sa online learning. Yung kino-combine natin yung alam natin, tapos yung technology, pwede natin ngayon i-personalize yung alam natin sa students. Diba? Kaya exciting po itong ginagawa natin ngayon.
Thank you, Jed. So to end, our time has run out. Just to clarify po, get your coupons from your CID, your Curriculum and Instruction Chief. meron pong na-distribute na coupons per SDO or the school division offices. So it's now with your CID. For DepEd NCR, please get your coupon from your curriculum and instruction chief. So as mentioned po, to get the certificate, you have to go through your asynchronous course. Yan po yung self-paced. And then meron po tayong assessment. But as we said, the assessment will be given several chances. As we said, we are making you go through what real online learning is po. You will go through the full online learning course yourself. So you know how it is to be an online student, to prepare you to become an online teacher. So again, thank you very much to DepEd NCR. We look forward po na let's all work together to make all, di ba, of DepEd NCR online teachers by the school opening. For those who are not, sa mga kaibigan niyo po o mga colleagues niyo sa DepEd NCR na hindi po nakasali ngayon, pakisabi po sa kanila na ito po yung opportunity nila. This is not a cheap course. We were able to get some donors for you. At magsisikap po kami na makahanap pa ng donors uli para sa stage 2. Diba? So I hope, and alam niyo po, ang donors natin will like to help pag mas maraming sumasali. So if more of you join this course and pass this course, then our donors will become more excited to help out. So the more people who pass the course, then we will have more enthusiasm for our donors to continue to stage 2. Ito po ang tulong namin ng bayanihan. Wala pong dapat eskwelahan o teacher na maiwanan. So maraming salamat po sa Thames International, EduRescue, at AKADASIA. Ito po ang contribution namin sa ating bayanihan effort. Marami pong salamat sa DepEd NCR for giving us this opportunity to help out. So sama-sama po tayo na let's all move forward with the new normal and all become online teachers. Thank you very much, and we will see you, and we look forward to your registration. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Jed.
Bye-bye.
See you on the course. See you in the course.